Hey everybody, it's Andy Kushner, host of The Wedding Biz, and this is a new episode of The Next Level, in which I have a guest co-host who talks with me about the most recent interview of the week, and we kind of suss out some very key topics here and help to translate them into specific ideas, strategies that you can use to bring your own business to the next level. And before I introduce today's guest co-host, I want to mention that last week's interview, if you missed it, was Debbie Geller, part 2, owner of Geller Events. And Debbie is a seasoned event planner who orchestrates very logistically complex events in Los Angeles and worldwide. And she's got real innovative concepts and works with a group of very high net worth families. And we talk about legacy clients and all kinds of good things, pricing also. So be sure to check out part 2 with Debbie Geller. And today, I am very excited to announce that my guest co-host is Julie Sabatino, founder of The Stylish Bride. She also has a wonderful podcast. We'll mention that later. And we had a fantastic conversation that you've got to check out because she was on the show August 13th of last year of 2018. And Julie is an innovator herself, having created a one-of-a-kind business in the wedding industry. Welcome, Julie, back to the show again.
Thanks so much, Andy. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Do you have any exciting new news? What's going on in your life and career lately?
Actually, yeah. I'm just about to launch a new service for my business, actually. I'm doing virtual consulting and making it the third part of what I do, meaning I consult with my clients much as I do with my in-person styling clients to really get to know them. And then I send them all of the information that they need to do it on their own. So it's a personalized blueprint for dress success.
God, I love that, Julie, because people, don't have to come over to New York or you fly out. And yeah, what a great way to do it. Well, and I'm going to say again that you all have to check out the interview of Julie, August 13, last year on The Wedding Biz. Just search for her because you'll find out all about this. And I think that the service you're now offering is just wonderful. I mean, for more people to have access to you. So that's great. Yeah. So today's guest who we're talking about is Carl Ray, celebrity makeup artist who since 2009 has been the official makeup artist for former First Lady Michelle Obama. And his very notable clientele includes Meryl Streep, Paul McCartney, Melinda Gates, Priscilla Chan Zuckerberg, Leonardo DiCaprio, Morgan Freeman, Lin-Manuel Miranda, former President Bill Clinton, and Barack Obama. You get the idea. Carl is big time with makeup. And his interview came out Monday. If you missed it, check it out. And so, Julie, in terms of one of the highlights of the interview, it was really, for me, right from the very beginning, and given what you do, helping brides with fashion and beauty, I would love to get your take on this. I had started by reading a quote by Michelle Obama about Carl's work, which essentially came down to how he understands how to bring out her inner beauty. And when Carl responded to that, he was talking about how, and you know this very well, it's not about changing who the client is, but rather embrace who they are and help to bring out that inner beauty. And I wonder how you feel about that and how you do that with your clients.
Oh, it's absolutely true. And the way that I look at this and the way that I approach every single client is that I want to empower them. And it's the same with fashion as it is with beauty and makeup, because I think that if you can help a woman feel absolutely beautiful in her own skin, that's what's going to shine through. And it really matters less than you would think what the makeup is or what the dress is. It's about how she feels. So I thought that he really honed in on that concept. And it sounds like that's what got him the contract with Michelle Obama, which is, of course, the brass ring of all people to be in contract for, and to work with.
Yeah. And a lot of the conversation did come down to, and even when I was off the mic with Carl, they have a really nice relationship. It's very personable. Then she, of course, that's a lot of it has to do with her. But, what I was getting from that was that is how he is finding out, who she is and how she wants to express herself. And then for him to manifest that through makeup, like you with the gown, it just sounded like that was really critical, is the personal connection. It's almost like that was the heart of it all. Do you agree?
I do, absolutely. And you said that in the interview at one point, and it is 100% true. You said that most of the wedding professionals that you interview on this podcast really hone in on getting to know the client and making it personal to them. And I think that people that are successful in this industry have an amazing ability to do that, because really, you can produce an amazing event, and not that that is easy. And honestly, I don't know how they do it most of the time, but there are a lot of people out there that can do that. So I think that the personal connection that you can develop with a client and really understanding them and connecting with them is the most important thing that you can do in your business. And people ask me all the time, my clients, who should I hire for hair and makeup? And I say to them every single time, it's a personality fit, because there are a lot of amazing, amazing artists out there and amazing stylists, everything. But you have to feel a connection with them, and you have to want to be with them in your face, 6 inches from you on your wedding day. And I think that it comes down to that in a large part.
Well, and that leads right into, another topic that really grabbed my attention later too, is basically how vulnerable people must feel in the chair, in terms of the makeup. And I'm sure with you too, with the dress, it really is a vulnerable place to be in. And so it seems that he's got this skill to be able to make them comfortable. And again, like you say, it all comes back to connection. But I thought that was a really key part, is understanding the client. It's a very vulnerable place to be in. You must run into that all the time.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, in what I do, I am in the dressing room with these women who are mostly naked, and talking to them about their most vulnerable insecurities about their bodies all the time. And it is a level of trust has to be there, and a level of confidence that that person isn't going to criticize you and really understand you, that I think makes or breaks a relationship in these particular intimate kind of relationships that we're dealing with.
I want to mention that obviously we all want to get as much publicity as we can for our businesses in the wedding and events industry. Well, would you like help in doing so? OFD Consulting is an award-winning publicity agency specializing in the wedding and events industry. They have placed clients in a ton of popular online and print publications, including many of the most well-known brands. OFD Consulting also has a service dedicated entirely to B2B press. And that's if you want to elevate your brand reputation among peers through online mentions, guest articles, podcasts, and speaking engagements. And if you're a small business who just wants to get a sense of what's possible, check out the OFD Collective. It is a 3-tier membership with strong educational and coaching opportunities, along with ongoing press leads. Learn more by going to ofdconsulting.com. That's ofdconsulting.com.
Well, and then I assume that both of you and Carl, both same issues, that like Carl talked a lot. He must have said it 2 or 3 times that he is himself when he's with them. Like he kept talking about being authentic to himself, which, I mean, it's almost like for me, in this podcast, the more vulnerable I can be with a guest and totally authentic and real, they are going to respond the same. So, that's what I got from Carl with the makeup. And again, I know that you're doing this too, right? You have to be yourself.
It's them. True. And it was something that was not easy for me to learn. It took me many years. I mean, I've been doing this for 15 years. And I think in the beginning, when I started, I thought that I had to be a certain way for them, and that it had to be perfect and polished and, always looking amazing and always being fun and all of these things. And, of course, there is a certain amount of that you need in a relationship like this, because you want them to like you and all of that. What I also learned was that the skill that I have is the ability to really understand people, and I love that part of it. It's what keeps things fresh and new and interesting for me, is the amazing people that I learn about. And to be able to do that, I have to be real with them. And not everything is the right fit. I mean, I think that it's also important to realize that, I am me, and that's okay. And that might not be right for everybody. But if for the people that it is, really giving them that and showing them my vulnerabilities and being able to say to them, hey, I know you really hate your hips. I have felt that way my entire life. It's stuff like that where you just being real with them and letting them into your own insecurities, I think.
Well, then they can open up, right? They feel more comfortable. They feel trust.
Right. Exactly.
Well, and you mentioned earlier not being right for everybody. That's also another theme that comes up with everyone in almost every guest. And I really respect that, especially the planners, who are kind of overseeing the whole thing. And, they're talking about how, in a sense, they're also interviewing client and how you cannot be afraid to say, this doesn't to yourself, this doesn't feel right, and then to not work with them. So, also another topic that came up was I had asked Carl about dealing with different nationalities in terms of skin tones and, and how does he deal with that? And it was more of a generic kind of an answer. He was saying, well, he just knows what to do. And because, he's coming from that artist perspective. And I thought this was a beautiful, beautiful statement when he said that to him, everyone is a canvas.
Yes. And an individual and themselves. And it's his job to find out who that is and highlight that and bring out those pieces that are beautiful. And I thought that was amazing. And it's funny because what I thought of when I was listening to that was about a photographer and how they have to bring out the beauty in a woman on her wedding day that may not necessarily be traditionally beautiful. And the same thing happens with me and gowns and helping someone. And so again, it's that whole inner feeling that if you can help a bride really achieve feeling good on the inside, that's going to come through.
I love that. And, I was about to ask, well, here I am, not necessarily asking, but I was going to make a statement about how, like, for him, he's got different skin tones. For you, you've got different body types.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so it almost, regardless of what it is, if you're really good at what you do and you know how to bring out the best in somebody and you understand how they want to express themselves, it doesn't matter, right? None of that matters.
It doesn't. And you can find something great for whomever it is. And he can make any woman look her most beautiful because he can highlight the eyes. As he said, that's his favorite part. For me, I think you can find something about each woman that they love. And, when I'm talking to a new client and we've decided to work together and then I'm doing the consultation process, I always phrase it. The question that I ask them is, what do you like to accentuate and what do you like to minimize? Because it's a way of phrasing it that, I want to hear what they like. And everybody has something, with people, even with the lowest self-esteem will be like, oh, I have great eyebrows or whatever, it's like, and I think that it's important to say that and put it in a positive spin and, understand. And I look at my job as figuring out what that is, helping them see parts of them that they may not automatically come to, but also respecting what they don't like. And I can look at a bride and say, oh my God, what are you talking about? You're crazy. Your arms are awesome. And they feel horrible about them. And that's going to come through. So it's a fine balance between pushing them a little bit and respecting what really I can't change.
Wow. Well, is there anything else before we wrap up, about the interview that, got your attention?
I think my favorite part of it was when he talked about how he marched into the Four Seasons and just said, you need to hire me. And I thought that was great. And I thought that the chutzpah that he had to do that was awesome. And, I think that as an entrepreneur and a business owner, you have to make those opportunities. I think for him, he was really, really lucky that they said yes the first shot. I think for most people, that's a little deceiving because, I don't know how often it happens like that, but I do respect seeing what you want and going after it. And that was really his entree into the whole thing.
Oh, I agree. Listen, I could tell you so many stories in my career, both the music and even the podcast, but especially the music, about just putting myself out there and creating the opportunity. I was walking somewhere, it was a Barnes & Noble on the wall. It was in Georgetown, D.C. I remember there was some statement, I wish I could remember, it might have been Franklin somebody talking about opportunity, but it was a different angle on it. It was that if you don't see any, you can create it. And so that's what we're talking about, is how Carl did that. And of all places, the Four Seasons. I mean, and that was, I think, the first one he went after. It's not like he practiced with some other hotel. I thought that was great.
Me too. I think we can all take a lesson from that.
Well, that is all the time we have for today. I want to thank everyone for listening. I want to make sure that all of you are very clear on how to find Carl. It's carlraymakeupartist.com. Again, carlraymakeupartist.com. His social media handle is carlraymua, as in makeup artist. I actually asked him, Julie, I said, gee, what does MUA stand for?
Oh my God.
I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, makeup artist. Okay. So, and then as for Julie Sabatino, her website is thestylishbride.com. and her social media handle is The Stylish Bride. And also, can you tell people where they can find your podcast, which is All Things Bridal Fashion and Bridal Beauty?
Yes, absolutely. You can find me anywhere you get your podcasts from, iTunes, everything. And it's also called The Stylish Bride. I stick with it.
Hey, great branding. That's what it has to be. Yeah. So, well, great, everyone. So, again, thanks so much for listening. And this is Andy Kushner and Julie Sabatino. And this is The Wedding Biz. And we'll catch you all next week. Thanks.
Thank you.